Regular council meeting of Tuesday, July 8th, 2025, 6 o'clock in Cayce City Hall chambers. The press and public have been notified according to the Freedom of Information Act.
Yes, Mayor.
Thank you. Sorry, we have an issue regarding the Freedom of Information Act, but I think we're going to come back to that. So, Mayor Pro Tem James has our invocation this evening.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Pray with me, if you will. Our most gracious and Heavenly Father, we come to you at a time of saying thank you for our community while we recognize a community in Texas is faced with such tragedy, deaths, and children in peril. And Father God, we ask that you would just continue to be with each and every one of them through this time as they rebuild their hearts, rebuild their homes, rebuild their community. And Father God, we also pause and just say thank you for the safety of our community at the same time. Father God, I ask that you would be with us tonight as we deliberate. We ask that always that your will is done. And Father God, in giving you thanks for the hedge of protection that you continue to place over our staff as they work hard every single day. Father God, in whatever job they do, we just ask for their safety and that you give them your guidance. In all this, we ask in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion. I move that the agenda be amended by rewording item 2B to read presentation by the Greater Cayce West Columbia Chamber and Visitors Programs on best practices and initiatives to promote tourism to the city of Cayce. Adding item 4A, consideration and approval of resolution declaring filing dates for candidacy for municipal elections. Rewording item 7B to refer to reappointments, and adding executive session item 10B, discussion of personnel matter relating to the exit of city manager. The purpose of this motion is to confirm an amended agenda that was circulated to city council and the media at least 24 hours prior to the meeting, but could not be posted to the city's website within that time frame. As to the addition of item 4A, a resolution declaring municipal election filing dates, this motion is based upon finding of exigent circumstances because there's no other regularly scheduled city council meeting between tonight and the opening date of filing on August 1st, 2025.
I second that motion, Mayor.
Thank you. Discussion.
May I ask a question just for clarification? Councilmember Sox, you said that all this was circulated with the media?
The media and council, it was just not published to the website before 6 p.m. last night, and therefore had to be amended.
Thank you.
Do you want anything, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, just a couple of things. The presentation language, we wanted to just make sure that we were clarifying so everybody really understood what the presentation was about. It's really about our clarity in the language that was put in there. And then the municipal elections, staff erred on that, and that should be something that we need to clarify. Usually we do it a little bit later in the month. It caught us off guard. We didn't have another meeting, so we needed to make sure that we got it into this meeting. So that was an alert for us to make sure that we got that into for tonight's agenda, to make sure that transparency to everybody that the election is starting and opening August 1st.
Thank you. And I'll just add too, Mike and I had a good conversation about this, and his commitment, my commitment to transparency, because it's the second meeting in a row where it's been published and put out to the press, and then it's been amended, and items have been changed in the packet, and that's really hard on our citizens because we've done a good job of building up trust and making sure that our citizens know what's going on. So if it comes out and then you don't know it changes, then maybe you missed something important. And so we've been very good about that for a very long time, but we have had 2 in a row. So I think there is a commitment to make sure that we don't end up in that position again, so that citizens can rely on what's being put out.
I agree with you, Mayor. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, two of those had to do with chamber changes, so I'm glad that we all agree. I'll call the question.
Mayor Pro Tem James?
Yes.
Councilmember Thomas?
Yes.
Councilmember Socks?
Yes.
Councilmember Carter?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes, thank you, so moved. Okay, we have approval of minutes. You have a number of minutes in front of you. You've got the June 3rd, 2025 public hearing and regular council meeting, the June 6th special council meeting, June 16th special council meeting, June 17th special council meeting, June 18th regular council meeting, and June 23rd special council meeting minutes, all in front of you. Is there a motion to approve?
Let me count. I move that we approve all 6 sets of minutes.
Bless you. Okay, there's a motion to approve all 6 sets of minutes. Is there a motion? A second?
I'll second it.
Thank you.
But
Go ahead.
didn't we have something we had to do there too, to add?
Oh, thank you, we did.
Yeah, that's the reason I was
My mind
pausing.
just went
No,
blank.
you're the one who's on it. That's awesome. Yeah, Mindy, can you update us on that?
Yes, I apologize. The council meeting speakers list, like the one that's usually by the front door when you come in, that was left out of the June 3rd and June 18th meeting minutes, and along with Mayor Pro Tem's 2 recusal statement forms and Councilmember Thomas's. So in the packet, those items were not included, but they will be.
But you've added them now, and so we need to amend our motion?
Yes,
Are
we do.
Yes, yes.
you okay with that, Hunter?
Yeah, so it needs to be amended to have those changes, or do we need to bring those back at our next meeting to approve?
We can do it either way. So if you want to approve 4 and then just bring that back, so it's in the council packet, we could do it that way.
I'm fine if we approve them in there as they are, if that's easiest.
It's up to y'all.
I think the city attorney said we could do it either way.
So, but to be clear, is it in this council packet?
No,
Yes, see, I
it's
don't think they're in
not.
there.
I personally think, to be as transparent as possible, I would just defer those 2 to the
Okay.
August 5th council meeting.
Agree.
Well, I'm okay amending my motion to defer those 2 to the first meeting in August, which is,
Let's, if you don't mind, let's approve the 4, and then we'll come back for those.
That's fine.
So,
I'm good with
all
that.
right, so we're taking out June, which one's Mindy?
3rd and 18th.
Just June 3rd and June 18th council meetings are coming out, but you have a motion to approve the other 4?
yes, that's fine. I move that we approve the other 4
Okay.
sets of minutes.
Phil has
And my
second.
second's on those 4.
All right, any discussion?
So an approval of June 6th, June 16th, June 17th, and June 23rd special council meetings.
Thank you. All right, I'll call the question.
Mayor Pro Tem James?
Yes.
Councilmember Thomas?
Yes.
Councilmember Socks?
Yes.
Councilmember Carter?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes, thank you, so moved. Okay, and then, did you want to grab the next motion or something else?
Yeah, I move that we defer the other 2. I can't remember the dates on it. It was the
6th and
6th, the 6th and 18th.
3rd and 18th.
The
Third.
3rd and the
3rd
18th.
and 18th.
I move that we
Defer.
defer June 3rd and June 18th minutes to our first meeting in August to approve with the addition of the information mentioned by the clerk.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion? And I'll call the question.
Mayor Pro Tem James?
Yes.
Councilmember Thomas?
Yes.
Councilmember Socks?
Yes.
Councilmember Carter?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes, thank you, so moved. We have public comment regarding items on the agenda.
We have one person signed up, Mayor.
Thank you.
Mr. James Stewart for items 6C. 7C, excuse me.
Hi, I'm James Stewart, I'm the chair of the Museum Commission. I'd like to read a statement of support for our proposed amendment to the Cayce Museum and Historical Commission bylaws. The Cayce Museum and Historical Commission requests that the City Council approves the proposed amendment to the Commission's bylaws. This amendment would convert the existing African American Committee from an ad hoc to permanent status and sets up organizational and reporting structures to better coordinate the committee's work with the Commission. The text for the amendment was developed over several commission meetings and approved twice by unanimous commission vote before it was sent up for council approval. The African American Committee has worked as part of the commission since Curator Thomas started the committee in January of 2020. Over the last 5 years, the committee has been very active. They've helped curate the museum's African American exhibit, manage an annual African American Legends of Cayce social media campaign, organize the Legends of Cayce reception at the Lexington II Innovation Center, help decorate trees for the museum's Christmas open house, and organize this year's inaugural Juneteenth celebration, which was just featured in a June issue of the Lexington County Chronicle. The African American Committee's volunteer efforts have made a strong positive impact for the museum and our community at large. During the 2020 Black History Month, the committee's Legends program produced daily posts spotlighting the everyday stories, events, places, and people important to the city's African American community. These posts, now shared on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays during Black History Month, include important local histories that have been overlooked by the public record. These histories were also published as a trading card series, which was funded entirely by volunteer donations. The Commission considers their work vital to our mission of promoting, preserving, and protecting Cayce's historical legacy, and the Commissioners unanimously voted for this bylaws amendment. Now we ask that the Council vote likewise so that we can continue to support the work of the African American Committee. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have a presentation by American Engineering. I have way too much paper on my desk tonight from all the changes. Hang on, I have a list. Thank you. Okay. We have Allie Walker, the Director of Business Development from American Engineering, Chris Waddell, Project Engineer from American Engineering, and Jesse McClam, Project Manager from McClam and Associates, are here to present on the Avenue Storm Drainage Project.
Good evening, and thank you all for giving us the opportunity to come and present on the Avenue's drainage improvements. This presentation is going to be on Division A of the second phase of the project, which is referred to as the Indigo Outfall. Hopefully you can see the map there, but the red line on the map is the project corridor for the Indigo Outfall. It starts at BC High School near the football stadium. It proceeds down Indigo Avenue to the intersection of Indigo and Honeysuckle Street, and then it proceeds down Honeysuckle Street to a new outfall at Ginyard Park.
Chris, could you step up to the microphone?
Yep. On this map, you can see the project's set up. We're going to talk about it in three phases. So phase one is the work closest to BC High School. That's where the contractor started work within the last month. And then phase two is the work in Indigo Avenue. And then phase three is the work on Honeysuckle Street and the new outfall at Ginyard Park. We started at BC High School through close coordination with Lexington School District 2 to try to minimize the disruption to the school during the school year. So we got started in early June, and the contractor's been working there over the last month, and they're still working at BC High School. They're making good progress, and we worked really hard to minimize any disruption to the school. The plan, and I think we're still moving along in accordance with that plan, is to be off the school property and out of State Street by the start of school in August. The next phase is phase two, which is the work on Indigo Avenue and also at Ginyard Park. So you can see there's a red box on Indigo Avenue on the presentation. Essentially what the contractor is going to do is they're going to work from State Street down Indigo Avenue towards Honeysuckle Street, and then simultaneously they're going to be working at Ginyard Park. So they'll have two different phases of construction going on there. And I'll let Jesse elaborate on any of that in detail that he would like to, but essentially what they're going to do is they're going to work in about a 100-foot section at a time in Indigo Avenue so that they minimize disruption to the overall project area. and they will be laying storm drain. They're essentially working in the middle of Indigo Avenue. They'll lay the new storm drain, and then as they move along, they'll restore the road where they were just working. So we're going to try to limit the disruption to about a 100-foot section at a time. And then at Ginyard Park, the work is going to be occurring off and on for the next year. Due to the phase of construction, there will be some work that'll start, and then they'll complete that, and then there'll be periods of time when you won't really see a lot going on at Ginyard Park, but they will be working there over the next year. The area of Ginyard Park that's being worked in is shown up there by that red box. You can see it's not the whole park, it's just a portion of the park, and the playground and many of the walking trails at the park are not being impacted by the work. So Phase 2 is going to start with the work in State Street, which the contractor is currently working on. That work's going to take about 2 weeks. And then once they get across State Street, they'll work down Indigo Avenue. The third phase is on Honeysuckle Street, and the contractor will start at the intersection with Indigo Avenue, and they'll work down Honeysuckle Street toward DeLissaline Road and Ginyard Park. Again, as with Indigo Avenue, they'll try to work in about a 100-foot section at a time to keep from disrupting the entire street. And the contractor's going to work really closely with the property owners that are affected by the construction to make accommodations for their parking and any other needs that they have during construction. Yeah, I'm going to turn it over to Jesse now to kind of just discuss some more about the coordination with the property owners, how they're going to go about that, and anything I've left out.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm Jesse McClam with McClam & Associates. As Chris mentioned, we're going to be moving, not to get too technical, but the old movie, The Blob, we're going to be slowly moving down the direction, down Indigo Avenue toward Honeysuckle. And the 100-foot section is pretty much encompassing of our equipment and the actual excavation. We're digging out with an excavator, have an excavation that the pipe's going in, and then a backfill operation immediately behind that. So it is it's only an 8-foot piece of pipe going in, 8 foot long, but it does take a large swath of area for that operation to take place. The areas that he showed boxed out like Indigo Avenue, once we get across State Street, we'll keep Indigo Avenue closed to through traffic while we're working in it from State Street to Honeysuckle. As Chris mentioned, we're going to be working with the homeowners and businesses that have access on Indigo, working with them on their individual plans on how to get access, whether it's coming in from Honeysuckle, and then when we get to a certain point, that switching. I know Chris has a slide in a little bit of some door hangers that have been sent out. We've also sent out, specific to Indigo residents, a more tailored door hanger with information about the detour and the road closure on their specific roads, with a contact number of a site contact that they can reach out in addition to the project team. So working with those people individually to make sure that they have safe access to their homes at all times during this operation. So.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about the project communications that we've implemented. On behalf of the city, we've implemented numerous methods of communication to keep residents informed and engaged about the Avenues Drainage Project. You have a clicker? I'll let you do that. My nails, I'll probably go through about 10 slides in one shot. So the first communication that we implemented was a citywide mailer that announced the start of the construction of the project. This was mailed in conjunction with a peer-to-peer text or email to all known numbers and emails within city limits, encouraging residents to opt in to real-time text and email alerts by signing up on the website. And I hope all of you got that mailer. Next one. And the next method of communication that we'd like to point out are the contractor door hangers that were placed by contractors to alert residents that they will be working in their area. As you can see, the project information line and the QR code to sign up for these real-time text and email alerts was at the bottom of the hanger. And we'll continue to do that throughout the duration of the project for those that are going to be impacted by those areas where construction will be taking place. The next method of communication was initially a placekeeper website that was created so that residents could sign up for the real-time text and email alerts at the onset of construction. Since then, an updated website has been created that will display all of the most recent updates to residents, maps, a link to the Cayce Drainage Facebook page, as well as media coverage that has taken place during the project. Do you want to click on that? Mindy, can you click on that website? Is that doable on that slide?
It was earlier, yeah.
Kind of get a better look at it. But we have updated that, and as you can see, it talks a little bit about the project. There are your updates. Those are the updates that are going to be put out via the text and the email alerts, and those will change as each update gets put out to residents. You will see here the maps to include the detour map, and then following you'll see some of the updates that have been put up on the Facebook drainage page and other media. And of course, we'll still maintain that sign up, the ability for residents to sign up for those real-time text alerts. And we're really trying to encourage folks to do that because it is a really quick way to get an update of what's going to happen. But we've been very good about making sure that we send those out about a week and a half to 2 weeks in advance so that people have plenty of time to make any changes to their daily routine if it's something that's going to be impacting them. So the next slide are two of the flyers that we put out to both businesses as well as homeowners. The first, we hand-delivered, I don't even know how many, probably 40 to 50 flyers to all the businesses on State Street about a week and a half prior to the closure of State Street. And that gave them an opportunity to ask questions, also plenty of opportunity to notify their clients or their customers about the construction taking place and ask questions. You know, we didn't want to just notify them, we wanted to give them an opportunity to ask questions if they had any questions about how they might be impacted. In addition to that, we put out a flyer for homeowners that will be impacted by the construction on State Street, and those were attached to the roll carts. Those were sent out to homeowners from Knox Abbott all the way to Frink Street and from 7th Street all the way down to the river. And finally, now y'all probably can't see that. Council, I hope you can see that a little bit better than the folks back here, but this is a full chart of all the elements of the communication plan that have been implemented thus far. It includes the type of communication, when it took place, the notification that was relayed to homeowners and other residents, and the location if applicable. We've communicated via real-time text alerts 4 times, posted approximately 57 signs throughout the area, met with homeowners and contractors, distributed approximately 600 flyers, and have showcased the project via several broadcast and print media outlets.
Okay, I'm just going to go over real briefly on some of the project benefits. So the city's approach to addressing the flooding and drainage issues on the avenues is a holistic approach. It goes back to 2015, 2016 when we did a study for the entire avenues. There were a lot of recommendations in that study, and this project is a piece of that puzzle. The previous phase, phase one, was a piece of that puzzle. The work that's going on at Naples Avenue that's getting started, that's a piece of the puzzle. There will be future phases to the project to fully implement the recommendations and address the flooding on the avenues, but this project is going to make a beneficial impact on day one once it's put into service. As y'all know, the drainage on the avenues was pretty much cobbled together over the last 70 years, and so to implement a holistic solution, we had to start at the river and work our way up. And so this is the next step in that, and it's going to make a really good impact to the flooding issue on the avenues, especially above BC High School and along Knox Abbott Drive. With that, if y'all have any questions, we'd be glad to answer those.
Yeah, Chris, Ally, Mr. McClam, thank you so much for being here tonight. And Ashley, I'm hoping that this would be able to be shared with our community because this presentation is extremely helpful to anybody that wants to know a little bit more about it. So, Chris, can you go into detail about what's going on in Ginyard Park and how big that retention pond is going to be? I recognize that this is a big operation. When people walk through a park that's been there for over 100 years and see some 25 trees cut down, it's shocking is what it is. So can you help folks to better understand exactly what the purpose is, what the city and you guys are going to do to be able to bring it back to its beauty of the original nature?
Sure. So the outfall at Ginyard Park is water. Basically, we're diverting water from where the project's starting at BC High School to Ginyard Park. So the water would already go to Ginyard Park. There's a box culvert that comes out from under State Street kind of up at the top of the park. And that box culvert goes back to probably the 1920s. It's a brick arch. It's undersized, as is some of the piping up from that. So we're basically just directing water around that through new piping. And when we do that, what we don't want to do is damage the park. We don't want to damage the stream. It's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful stream. So at the outfall where the water is coming back into the park and merging back in with the existing stream, what we're doing is we're putting in a stilling basin. And that stilling basin is essentially a place to slow the water down, take the velocity out of the water so that it doesn't damage the stream. It's a natural type solution. It would be rock and vegetation that's appropriate for that kind of a location, and that will stabilize that area and slow the water down. There will be a concrete head wall where the pipe comes out, and basically it's just a place to slow the water down is the best way to describe it. The size of it, it's a large pipe. It's a 72-inch diameter pipe, so a 6-foot diameter pipe that's going to discharge there via the head wall. And so you've got a lot of water coming out of that pipe. So the stilling basin is sized to remove the velocity from the water to a level that's appropriate to discharge back into the stream. And everything there was sized in accordance with the Federal Highway Administration, which is the DOT standard. And we hate to disrupt any part of the park, and we kept the footprint of that stilling basin, that outfall, as small as we could to still be constructible. It is, there is a swath of the park there where we're going to be working, but we tried to limit that as much as possible. I'm sure that the contractor would probably have made their life a little easier if we had made that area bigger, but we understand that's a park, it's a beautiful place, and so we tried to limit the impact to the park as much as we could.
Help me to understand how big that, I'm going to call it a retention pond. I know that you've got another engineering word for it, but how big will that be?
It's going to look kind of like a rectangle, and then it'll merge back down into something that looks like a stream channel that's narrower. So right where the pipe comes out, it might be, I don't remember the dimensions off the top of my head, but probably, 2 to 3 times the diameter of the pipe, so 6 feet wide, so, maybe 15, 20 feet wide. That's off the top of my head. And then it'll be in the shape of a rectangle. It'll be a permanent pool of water that'll be a little over 2 feet deep. And then at the end of it, as you get closer to the stream, it'll narrow back up into something that looks like a stream channel.
Can you help me to understand why so many trees had to be taken out for something that size?
Just to, the width of the stilling basin is dictated by the design guidelines for the Federal Highway Administration. So if you know the velocity of the water coming out of the pipe, the stilling basin had to be a certain width, length, and depth to meet the design guidelines, which is really to slow the water down so that you don't have a high velocity of water coming out and damaging, eroding the soil. And so the width of that was set by the Federal Highway Administration guidelines that we used, which is the design standard for the Department of Transportation. And then anything beyond that is just enough width to get in there and construct it.
Okay. And then the other question, so State Street is cut off, and we understand that it's going to have to be to be able to put those pipes through. We have north of some 1,000 plus cars that travel westbound on State Street every day. These cars are now being diverted down Carlaney Avenue, which on a regular day may have 30 to 40 cars go down it. Have those neighbors been communicated with, Ally, about the increase in traffic? I know you said from 7th Street to the river, so those folks are in the loop on what's going on?
The roll cart flyers went out to the homeowners all the way down to the river. We also communicated with the apartment complexes, the Cayce Cove and the Avenir, put it so that all of their residents were aware, because of course they are not going to necessarily be impacted by State Street, but they will be impacted by the uptick in traffic on Axtell. So we did reach out to their management, sent them maps, as well as a digital version of the flyer that they could then forward out to their residents. So I think between the roll carts and the communication via the apartment complexes, we touched everyone.
Is it Carlaney or Lafayette where they're coming through?
It's Lafayette and Axtell is really where the Axtell.
But you can make it as far.
But
you
I'm
can make
wondering,
it.
to
Yeah.
your point, I wonder if we don't need signs on Carlaney and some of the other ones that say local traffic only.
I was.
You've got detour signs saying go there, but what you agree?
You're absolutely right. And I realize we can sit here and dissect this to pieces, but Mayor, to your point, I was going to ask our city manager and our police chief to take a look at that and see what comments we might can give back to American Engineering about what can, I mean, anybody in this room right now, if you have 50 cars that go in front of your house every day and all of a sudden you have 1,050 cars, it's a dramatic increase for safety of children, for safety in general. And I know you guys are doing everything you can, Ally, but sometimes once it goes into full action, you're like, oh, this is a little bigger than what we thought. And this is yet to be able to take into consideration all of the students that live in student housing, too. That will be coming back in about 3 weeks. So we need to just take all that into consideration.
Yeah, the State Street closure should be finished by the time school starts back.
That's less than a month away.
Yeah.
So first day of school is August the 5th, but then the students for USC will be coming in before then.
Okay.
So, but remember, we lived slaying, so we know that sometimes, we hit a rock. So making sure that we're prepared for that.
Well,
I
should
say
you-
that in all jest, Mr. McClam, but we know what we hit.
Should you choose that you do want to do a no-through traffic sign and where you'd like to place that, let us know. We can print them up. That's no issue whatsoever. We can absolutely do that.
Is it better to say no through traffic or just to say local traffic?
Local traffic
only?
only, whatever you prefer. We can absolutely do that.
Okay.
Yeah. No problem.
And then, while I'm still kind of giving ideas, Mr. City Manager, I would love for us to think about some type of remediation efforts that we can do. I don't want us to walk away from Ginyard Park of taking down a bunch of trees and just saying, well, this was needed for the betterment of drainage project along. What can we do to be able to make it even look better once we're gone? I mean, this is a great opportunity for us to be able to do that. It's a beautiful park given by the Ginyard family 100 and some odd years ago that so many people visit. And I just don't want to walk out of this saying, well, we had to do this. If we can start looking at something else that we can do before we finish, I'd like that. That's not on y'all, Ms. Alley, but it is something that we can look at.
I've got a few additional questions. My grandparents live over that way and communicated with them and some of their folks, and a handful of the questions were answered, but just so we all kind of have this in a public meeting, do we have a project schedule for the 3 phases? Clearly, the first phase we've talked about should be wrapped up in about a month. Which area would begin next? I know you had it up there, and I didn't jot it down when the slide was up.
Can I go
Sure.
back to it?
Yeah, I think there's some timelines on those slides to give you an indication of how long each is expected.
Yeah, they're in days, so I'll kind of summarize. So we're essentially, our schedule is to be out of BC High School property before school starts, so by the 1st of August. And then Indigo, which is the next phase, Indigo and Ginyard. That should be through like mid-October to be finished with the work on Indigo and out of the Indigo and Honeysuckle intersection. We're going to work from State Street down to Honeysuckle, and then we'll try to get out of that intersection by around mid-October. And then we'll be working on Honeysuckle from when we finish up at Indigo, like probably mid-October through about mid-January, getting out of Honeysuckle. And then the intersection of DeLissa Line and Honeysuckle, it may be closer to possibly like mid-March before we're completely out of that intersection, because there's going to still be construction traffic coming in out of the work area at Ginyard Park. So, yeah, mid-October to be finished on Indigo, mid-January to get out of Honeysuckle. Does that
Okay.
seem about right?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would add is just from the contractor side, obviously, ground conditions. Right now, we're in pretty good ground conditions, but, and we are progressing pretty well. Obviously, we want to get it installed as fast as possible. If timelines start to speed up, then we'll be talking with American about getting that notice out that we may be a little bit earlier. I know the folks where we're working at in that immediate time frame, get done earlier. So, we will, we've got regularly scheduled progress meetings and Chris and I talk, maybe not every day, but a few times a week. So, any updates one way or the other, are being communicated through them and through updated schedules. So, things could change at ground conditions, things like that. But once we get down Indigo, we do want to get down Indigo, and before really going down Honeysuckle, get Indigo back restored before we start down the next street. So.
Okay, and then touchy subject based on what Councilman James mentioned earlier regarding granite. Have we had any boring samples done on Honeysuckle to specifically see if there's anything like that that's been found yet?
So,
Yeah, we did a geotechnical evaluation, so we have borings along the project route. I don't remember the number off the top of my head, but it was a lot, 20, 30 soil borings. And the contractor is now, there is possibly some rock anticipated in certain areas. The contractor is actually going to go back in the next, I don't know, what?
we're hoping to have already done it by now, but our drilling sub had some equipment issues. They were scheduled to come the week of the 30th, but they should be coming in the next couple of weeks, especially on that lower end. We really want to get a good profile of what we're looking at. Hopefully none or very minimal, but we do want to have an idea of that before we start looking at the path forward with it. So, they provide a geotech report with the bidding documents, but we really want to go through it with a fine-tooth comb and see what we've really got and what we're dealing with there.
Perfect, thank you. And then last one, hopefully a little bit easier. Safety along the walking trail from the retention pond, whatever the proper term is that y'all use in the engineering world. Will it be a fenced in around it? What kind of fence? Or is that kind of on us with the beautification efforts of it? Or does that fall under y'all's scope?
It will be kind of a gentle slope, so the slope into it won't be any greater than anything else along the creek there, along the stream. And it may have water in it all the time, or it may dry up, during dry weather. So along the retaining wall, there'll be like a handrail, but other than that, we wouldn't anticipate any kind of railings or anything like that being needed. That's not going to be, the stilling basin is not going to be like an abrupt drop-off. It'll be kind of a gentle, like a 3-to-1 slope down into that until you get actually into the basin, and then it might be like a 1-to-1, so 1 vertical foot, 1 horizontal slope in there. So you're not talking about like a ravine or anything like that.
Okay, awesome. Thank y'all.
Excuse me, briefly, back me up a little bit to the campus where you're currently working. If memory serves, there's a pretty large pipe coming out, Indigo from 7th, that hooks hard left going north right there around where the scoreboard is to get into this nice type of thing that you mentioned. Excuse me, I got a head cold, by the way, sorry. Are we tying into that network before we head down Indigo and over to the park?
Yes, sir, yeah. So we're connecting to an existing 72-inch pipe
Right.
that the school district put in probably 15 years ago, something like that.
Okay, then
So
that leads
we're
to my next
connecting to that.
question. Then, so where you work, you put a monster in about 50 feet from State. So when you back up towards, I'm always call it the scoreboard culvert. So those columns and that wrought iron has to go away while you work?
It's going, actually, the columns are getting rebuilt next week. The
Okay.
columns in the gate are going back in.
And the school district's maintenance type people or operations people or architect, they know about the brick colors and
So we,
all that cool stuff.
yeah, so we had our mason come out before we broke ground or anything.
Super.
And he took it down brick by brick, and he was able to find because it's a large brick, it's not a normal
That's correct.
brick. So he was able to find that specific brick that was for that order, I believe, from the supplier around town. And so we do have some extra brick if needed, but he's gonna start the reconstruction of that next week.
Super. Just get me off that campus before school.
That's,
Thank you,
nobody
Mayor.
wants that more than me.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Tim said everything I have to say, so good job, Tim.
So I've got a couple of things. Next year, you said, so it would go through mid-March, and the Ginyard would be in construction off and on. Every moment that it is not in construction, I am assuming that trail will be open. Is that correct?
Yeah, we talked about, so they went in and did the tree removal, and if we can get it reopened, we will. We've got to look at the sidewalk, make sure the sidewalk wasn't damaged. But if there's going to be a long delay right now where they're not digging in there, we'll try to get it reopened. I got to talk to the contractor and see, whether that'll work. I think once they break ground and what they're going to do is they're going to excavate out, then they're going to build the head wall, and then they'll connect the piping to the head wall, and then they'll put the soil back in there, and then they'll restore everything. It's probably not going to be safe to reopen that area until we're essentially finished, just because it'll be an active construction site. So that portion of the trail will need to stay closed. Once they remove the sidewalk, it'll need to stay closed until the new sidewalk is put back in place. But we're talking to the contractor about trying to get the trail reopened right now if we can before they start actually digging.
Okay, I was not aware that the park was going to be closed until March. And that is so many people's favorite park, and they like walking loops, and they cannot walk a loop. Are we saying they can't walk a loop until March?
Yes, that's correct.
I also wasn't aware of the scope of that retention pond. I would like to see some drawings of what that's going to look like.
Sure.
Because that aesthetically, as Tim was talking about, is important. So I'd like to see what that's going to look like as soon as possible, please. I know we're working with the school district on paying for their portion of this scope, so we'll look forward to that information so it doesn't impact our taxpayer dollars for work on their property. I also signed up for on the QR code, and I'm not getting any alerts, so I don't know what I
We
need to
can
do
check
to
into that.
troubleshoot that.
Yeah, I'm not, how early on, did you do that immediately on the?
I think when the mailer came.
Okay, we'll check into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Did you sign up for both email as well as text, or just one or the other? Do you remember?
I don't remember now.
Okay, I'll double check. I'll check on it and I'll give you an update on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And then two other things. One is for us, I have residents that complain about the sign that's at State and Indigo, that it blocks visibility because of the height of it. It's just right there where people are trying to look at cars coming. So I'm wondering, while this is going on, if this isn't a great time to try to address that, so that when Indigo opens back up, the road is, that corner is safer. Thank you, Mike. And then one last quick comment. Y'all know this, and all the council knows, but just to reiterate for our citizens, the city has committed to coordinating the solution to storm drainage, but we are not the responsible party. Largely, this comes, and y'all have done some good studies, it comes from roads. And as y'all know, the city doesn't own any roads, so they're either county or they're state. And that's why we've gone to our partners at all the different levels, the county, the school district for their part, the county, the state, the federal, and that's how we got this giant grant, this $10 million grant, was them stepping up. The state's done a good job too of stepping up. Nikki Setzler, Micah Caskey have played a good role in helping with that. So, we're coordinating this, and that's what you see happening here today, is us coordinating that solution. But as you know, we are the lowest taxing entity of all of those entities. If you look at your tax bill, you see what the school district gets, what the county gets, et cetera, but what the city gets is very small. So this is not in our budget to give you an idea, this is a $10 million grant. Our entire general fund is $19 million. So we are coordinating the solution, and we'll keep working on these things together with our partners, but just to keep reiterating that. So thank you all for a great presentation.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have a presentation by the Greater Cayce West Columbia Chamber and Visitor Programs on best practices and initiatives to promote tourism to the city of Cayce. And Christina Nelson, who is the Membership and Events Coordinator, is here with us. And
I know, and my family's here. My son, 3 months
baby
old.
ever.
His very first council meeting, y'all. Super
Yay.
exciting. I want to thank you guys so much for allowing us to come join us. Like the mayor said, my name is Christina Nelson. I'm the Membership and Events Coordinator for the Greater CWC Chamber and Visitor Programs. Been with the Chamber and Visitor Programs for about 5 years, and have overseen the tax funding applications for the last 4 years. This is the first time we've been invited to present to the City of Cayce Council, so I appreciate the opportunity, and I look forward to telling you about our story and showcasing the programs and initiatives of the Greater CWC Visitor Programs. We're a small but mighty, all part-time employee-based program that includes 2 members as graduates of the USC Hospitality and Tourism School, a nationally recognized program. We also have a member obtaining her degree currently in mass communications, and a large group of volunteers that include restaurant owners, hotel managers, and leaders throughout the CWC community. Tonight, I'm excited to share with you an update, similar to what we do for the other governments annually, to share our program and visitor programs for the Chamber. Mr. Conley has requested this presentation focus on our programs and not about the specifics to accommodations taxes. However, our board chair and treasurer are always willing to discuss that, our formulas and funding sources if you so wish. Thank you, Mindy, for setting up my presentation. The Greater CWC and Visitor Programs is our presentation for fiscal year 25-26, which is advertising, promotion, and support for the Greater CWC Visitor Programs for the City of Cayce, events, and tourism. This is to encourage visitors to local to shop, dine, and explore and stay local. We want to showcase the Greater CWC as the next weekend getaway. A little bit about the Greater CWC Chamber and Visitor Programs. Since 1957, the Greater CWC and Chamber and Visitor Programs has been an integral part of Greater CWC and the Cayce community, with the primary goal to strengthen local business and tourism so that the region surrounding our Chamber and Visitor Center will be the premier place to live, work, connect, and explore. Since its inception, the Greater CWC has been a part of influential studies that have impacted tourism to the area, to include participation in a study on recreation in the area that later led to the creation of the Lexington County Recreation Commission, participation in a study about the CAE Airport and its viability for growth in the area, as well as being on a 1967 committee to determine the viability of a park along our riverbanks. Later in 1974, the Riverbank Zoo and Gardens was open. This partnership has continued into this most recent year where we were part of the 50th year Golden Ticket campaign the Riverbank Zoo did, and a large portion of that we split between the City of West Columbia and the City of Cayce, so half of that program was dedicated to the City of Cayce for tourism. Our mission as the Greater CWC Visitor Programs is to promote growth and development of tourism in our area. We do that with additional funding from Lexington County and the City of West Columbia to continue our work to enhance the promotion of tourism to the area, support for our community events, and continue the high standard of operations at our visitor center. Just want to give Mindy a quick shout out. It's been absolutely enjoyable working with you as we promote city events like Soiree on State, Cayce Cool Down, and the Christmas and Cayce events. So having a lot of fun doing that with you.
Thank you. Me too.
The Visitor Center is our brick and mortar located at 1006 12th Street. Have a lot of great stuff at our Visitor Center kiosk because people do like it old school. We've got a large variety of brochures and flyers and maps about things to do within the area. We also work to mail out, got some of these for you, our visitor programs flyers.
Thank you.
These visitor programs flyers were created in-house by yours truly, saving money in the long run because being local, I know a lot about the area and I worked with our team to get this created. This has got a QR code that scans back to our visitor programs website, and it also lists all of the City of Cayce and City of West Columbia and Greater CW events in the area. This new visitor programs flyer has been sent out to all of our locations that hosted our old flyer, including but not limited to local visitor centers, state welcome centers, national parks, and more. Several of our state welcome centers are already on their second and third mail out for the year. We're only halfway through, guys. It's a lot of printing. We also receive a wide variety of phone calls. Some are a little silly, some are what they should be. Folks inquiring about an upcoming event or asking about access to the Riverwalk or seeing what to do whenever they come to visit and where to stay. However, best practice has shown us that social and digital media to be the better means of advertisement for attracting visitors, and we do so through the following ways. One of our fun Love Local billboard campaigns that we started doing, in addition to advertising and marketing outside the 50-mile radius, we believe there is value in local marketing. Some of the best recruiters for visitors are those that live locally and remind their friends and family of all the great things to do in the community and encourage them to stay here versus an out-of-town plans. This is an investment back to the city and encourages students from local universities and colleges to invite their hometown friends and family to love local in the Greater CWC. We prove this through our fact that there's over 13,000 non-residents at USC this year, primarily from New Jersey, Maryland, Georgia, Massachusetts, and more. So we target those folks that are out of state to let them know, hey, don't go off someplace else when you're on spring break, just invite your folks to come stay here. And we've seen a lot of great return on that. Another part of our advertising and tourism promotions are our weekend getaway campaigns. We target these to Charlotte, Asheville, Raleigh, Greenville, Winston-Salem, Chattanooga, and more. And I'm glad I said Raleigh. My husband was picking on me that I kept saying Raleigh, but that's just my accent. We also have social media boosted ads that target markets outside of the 50-mile radius, and geo-targeted advertising that target those that are visiting the area for sports games, outdoor activities, and holiday events. Our recent weekend getaway ads have reached over 123,000 people with unique opens of about 72,000. One of the fun things that I got to participate in is helping promote the new Congaree to Cayce Trail. When Cayce opened the new access point on the lower river, we knew this was a really great opportunity to team up with some of our small businesses like Palmetto Outdoor. Palmetto Outdoor already features our QR code for this Visit CWC website on all of their buses and shuttles, which is great. But now what they have is educated their guides to tell more about Cayce whenever they're going from their put-in or from their pickup to their put-in. So working with that business to help promote City of Cayce has been a part of this Congaree to Cayce Trail. I don't normally do this slide because I have a social media person that helps us out with this, so I might get tongue-tied on these numbers, but they're really, really cool. Just the growth in the last few years. In 2021, our social media had a reach of just 39,000 people and about 3,000 followers. The following year, it climbed to over 200,000, with followers at about 3,500. In 2023, that number doubled to reach 598,000 people with over 5,200 followers. And in 2024, our reach hit 1.4 million with over 6,800 followers. We use our social media to target out of state as well as locally, not just for community events, but for sporting events as well. That big Manchester United game that came, we spent a lot of time and money on telling folks to say, hey, while you're here for that event, here's what to do before and after, here's how to spend your entire weekend. And we target that out to North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee as well. Some of our fun social media things that have gone out just in the last few weeks feature not only City of Cayce, but we are greater CWC visitor programs, but everything we do for the visitor programs benefits the City of Cayce. So you're going to see in all of our social media posts, lots of folks are tagged, lots of great social media, or lots of great small businesses, encouraging folks to stay and what to do while they're here. Some upcoming posts about Cayce Cool Down, just letting people know, here's what to do while you're coming to visit. And then, I don't know if this will play with sound, but in addition to some of the things that we're doing, we're working with a local Cayce company to be able to create a series of tourism videos for the greater CWC. This is one of the ones that we put together. We've done them in 15-second, 30-second ads to be able to use them in a wide variety of places. You'll see Tartan Day South is there. The Cayce float made it in there, the pickleball courts, that type of thing. I timed that exactly right because I knew the sound wasn't going to work. My favorite, excited to talk about, is Parade Day in the CWC. Everybody knows about our holiday parade of lights. It's been going on for decades. I used to go with my granny when I was a kid, and being able to work now for the Chamber and Visitor programs and see the back end of this event and how much work it takes for the two cities and for the Chamber and Visitor programs to put this on is incredible, and being able to see the return on it is just really, it's such a blessing to be a part of. Some of our highlights for Parade Day in the CWC starts out with a morning parade in the town of South Congaree, leads to the North Pole at the CWC Visitor Center, and a holiday business shuttle that highlights the business districts in the CWC. It is the largest nighttime holiday parade in the Midlands and offers a weekend full of events from movie nights all the way down to the parade. We had over 100 businesses participating in our North Pole holiday business shuttle this past year. And some of the stats from that day, we used cell phone technology to see how the visitors were coming and going throughout the day from 12 to 4 when the holiday business shuttle was running. And we had over 4,600 visitors to Parkland Plaza, to the businesses like My Poke, Freeway Music, East Bay Deli, from 12 to 4 on Parade Day. We had over 250 units in the holiday parade of lights, including over 1,000 walkers, 2 marching bands, a live nativity, and even a traveling rock band, which was really, really cool. We used that same cell phone data to find that we had over 24,000 spectators along 12th Street from 5 to 7:30. And just by comparison, between City of West Columbia and City of Cayce, it's about 31,000 people. Some feedback from some of our businesses that participated. Ms. Tara Krapp, she's a general manager over at East Bay Deli and Parkland Plaza. As a locally owned and operated business, we know firsthand this area has so much to offer that is yet untapped. Parade Day affords us that opportunity and to bring more community members through our doors. Ms. Kristen Bobanage of Planet Fitness. As a local family-owned franchise, we love being involved with Parade Day and supporting small business. It's a fun way to bring people together while also showcasing our facility to those who may not be familiar. One great thing about Parade Day that I think is really important to note is this really is the intersection of business promotion and tourism. And we saw that if we're bringing that many people to 12th Street for Holiday Parade of Lights, it just made sense a few years ago to say, cool, how can we compound on that? How can we make sure folks know that this can be the next Gatlinburg, the next Pigeon Forge for holiday events to bring your family? So we created an entire weekend of events, from the movie night on BC High School Stadium's football field, to the parade day in the different municipalities, to encouraging folks to stay in the area for brunch the next Sunday morning. Restaurants after the parade like Ocean View Seafood and City of Cayce saw triple the amount of visitors to their restaurant after the parade, which for us is one of the biggest wins from the event. In closing, some of the fun things we're working on for the fiscal year of 25-26. Our visitor programs website, visit CWCSC, which is separate from our chamber website. It's where our QR code links back to so folks can see what's going on in the area. We have this posted at businesses, storefronts, hotels. There are a couple of restaurants that even have it on their menus. So while you're sitting there perusing your appetizers, you can see what's going on in the upcoming weekend. And one of the new updates that we have for 2025, we purchased a new software that allows us to enhance our event calendar portal so folks in the community can submit things, and that's up and running. It's new and improved and encourages community organizations and businesses to place their events on the calendar, just adding to all there is to do in the greater CWC and really beefing up our QR code even more. We've already seen this kick off successfully with local Cayce businesses like Steel Hands and the Cayce Historical Museum. Another thing that is coming up, with input from our staff and our volunteers, our board of directors has approved our next project. And I put an example up here just to show the difference in followers. Right now, the Greater CWC has one social media platform that's the Greater CWC and visitor programs. What we've proposed is to separate that, have a platform just for the Chamber of Commerce and a platform just for the Visit CWC. What that will mean is we're going to be able to focus more on tourism to the area without a lot of more information about, I don't know, here's your business breakfast, it's great, but a tourist doesn't necessarily need that information. So what we're going to be having is an @Visit CWC page, something of the likes that's going to be implemented within the next year. And lastly, I have some of these for you too. Our next update. Our last update for 2022 is the implementation of our Greater CWC What to Do cards. This is an idea from our Visitor and Tourism Committee, and they're made to fit the key card envelope of every participating hotel and given to each person as they check in. We launched this pilot program with the Residence Inn and Town Place Suites with fantastic feedback not only from the guests but the staff as well. Our plan is to fund and supply all the area hotels with What to Do cards to make it easier to let guests know all about the great places to eat, shop, explore in the Greater CWC. This is a great addition to the room rate discounts that we already offer with some of our local hotel partners. That's about it, guys. I appreciate you guys just allowing us the opportunity to come present. I'm very, very proud of the team in the Greater CWC with the visitor programs and what we have been able to accomplish over the last few years. We're just consistently working to promote tourism in the area, but we also understand how connected that is to the small businesses as well. So doing it together is just what makes sense to us. So we appreciate your time.
Thank you, Christina. Any questions?
Thank you. I want to, Mayor, if I could, first of all, thank Christina for a wonderful job. She does a great job. Anybody who knows Christina knows how passionate she is about things, and I think that certainly came through tonight again. And I would like, Richard, can you formally show everybody what Christina's been working on for?
This is my son,
This is August, and he is the newest member of the area, and he's a fine young man. And then I'd also like Thomas Taffel. Thomas, if you please stand up. I want to introduce Thomas Taffel with Lexington Medical Center. He is our previous board chair, and Thomas led the Chamber and the Visitors Center through COVID, which was a very, very tough time. And Thomas's leadership certainly helped with everything that Christina's talked about tonight. So Thomas, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Christina.
Christina, just a quick question. Is, in regards to the visitors program, do y'all put information about the city's parks? Like you put
Absolutely.
pictures?
All of that's in there. Yeah.
Okay.
Anything
Thank you,
else?
Christina. I have a couple of questions for the Chamber CEO and Executive Director. You want to step down here?
Oh, I was here to answer any questions for the Chamber and Visitor
No,
programs.
he's the Executive Director. He's good.
don't-
Thank you, Christina.
I don't think that's proper for me to do tonight, Mayor.
Oh, it's legal. It's perfectly legal because there's not a vote. So, I mean, I've checked with the Municipal Association attorney. You're perfectly fine to stand up for your chamber.
Thank you very much. Proud to do so.
So I know
Mr. Carter, thank you.
Mike put together a great list for us of all the things that we've been asking in council meetings, and he's making sure to follow up on those things. And so one of them that he included said that there was a request to arrange for a presentation for the next council meeting to show council what the chamber did with last year's money from the ATAX money, and particularly if they could put the receipts in the council packet so everybody could see it, and then make us all feel better, because we've been in the middle of controversy over a vote from council to give 100% of the ATAX money to the chamber. And I love what you shared with us today, Christina, but the request was for the receipts of what was spent last year and for the budget. So where are we on that?
So two things. Let me first make sure that everybody recognizes that I have recused myself from council. So what you're speaking of, Mayor, has not come to my attention. Secondly, I'd ask the city manager, have you asked me for any of those documents?
No, sir, have not.
So what you're asking me, I have no idea of. However, as Christina did state to begin with, our treasurer is very, very happy at any time to be able to come, to be able to speak, to present, to have a meeting. And if there's any questions whatsoever to do with the finances, that would be the person who could be able to explain those to you.
Thank you. Yeah, if we could just get those receipts from last year.
Mayor, excuse me, like I said last meeting, I've done a lot of research, and I have seen, as you know, every agency, entity that gets money does an annual report. I've reviewed everyone's annual report for the last several years, and they're exemplary. They tell everything, so those reports are available, and staff approves those reports every year, and I'm to believe if there was a problem with the reports, there would never been a recommendation brought forward this year. So I can assure you that the reports I've seen are sound, and staff has them.
And let me
They
follow up on that if I may.
Actually, one second. I'm really confused because in the last meeting, you made a statement in this chamber sitting there saying that none of those entities had turned in their end of the year reports.
That's not what I meant. What I said last meeting, what I may have clumsily said, that we have never required an entity to provide detailed receipts that we bought a billboard at exit 6 on I-77. Now, they certainly, I'm sure, have that, but again, they do an annual report as required by law, and everybody's always done it. If I implied otherwise, then I'm sorry. I didn't mean to imply that they have not done the proper thing. And again, staff reviews that every year. I've seen them.
Oh, I'd like to see
They're
that.
well, again, staff, I'm sure staff, they have them. I've seen them. There's no secret. Am I correct, Mr. Conlon?
Yes, sir, we have to have an annual report to the Department of Revenue every year.
Right, I'd like to see those. If you've seen them, that'd be great. I'd like those receipts.
Absolutely.
I mean, that was what was shared in the last meeting, so I'm not sure where the confusion
But-
came from.
But if I may,
1
again,
minute.
I'm sorry.
I'm not sure where my report had anything to do with the presentation today, but and any of our documentation is always available to any council member.
Right, so this report that you gave us tonight, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I do, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'll read verbatim. It says, Mayor Parton asked City Manager Crosland to arrange for a presentation for the next council meeting to show council what the chamber did with last year's money, and particularly if they could put the receipts in the council packet so everybody could see it and then make everyone feel better. Is there a reason we can't get that?
I put the budget on the agenda items, and that was pulled off of the agenda. So there was no discussion for a budget this evening that I'm aware of.
Right, yes, you let council know that the chamber had said they weren't going to present about the budget, they were going to present about the best practices. But we still need that. I mean, that's what gets us out of the middle of all this controversy is, you know, knowing where that money was spent. It can only be spent on Cayce, can't be spent on West Columbia, can't be spent on Columbia. It has to be receipts just for things for the city, that benefit the city of Cayce. And it can't be things that says when they're here, it's got to be things that is getting them here. So that's what the law says.
Mayor,
He wanted to go next.
So I would refer our city administrator to the annual reports that you require. Not only do you require these annual reports, but so do the other entities that any visitor and tourism program has. We submit through CWC Visitor and Tourism an annual report to those other entities, as well as the city of Cayce, before new funds are ever allocated. So I think, as you just noted, you receive those annual reports.
Yeah, if we already have them, then great. I'd like them in my inbox tomorrow.
excuse me, Mayor. Again, two things quickly. If I implied that all the entities that have received money in the past did not properly do their paperwork, I regret making that statement. That was not my intention. They've done it. Again, I've seen it. And Mayor, I'm troubled that we want to get down that far into weeds to this council checking invoices for billboards and radio ads and magazine ads and things. Is that where we really want to go? We have a staff that does a very capable, that they're capable and they do a fine job at that. And again, if something would have been incorrect in the past, it never would have been brought forward to us the next year. So do we really need to be checking invoices? I mean, is that what you're asking? Again, you and I kind of started the dialogue that if we think that's the direction we're going to go, then I'm all for council sitting down in either a work session or an open session and deciding this is the direction we're going to take. We've never asked anybody in the past to provide invoices. And if that's where you feel like we need to go, then the council can certainly entertain it.
Yeah, I mean, I know this council cares very much about our budgets that we pass. We're responsible for return on investment for our citizens. And the reality is that if we want to lower our citizens' tax burden, the way that we do that is to get others to spend money here. But that requires that we get people to come here, that they actually come here, and then that they have small businesses to spend that money in. My concern is that with this drastic vote that ignored the recommendation from the Citizen Committee to give 100% of the money to the chamber, that Christine is fabulous, she's amazing, but she told us her job is membership and events coordinator. She has an important role for the businesses. There is no one position at the chamber that is focused on tourism. The professional expertise that Lake Murray Country and Experience Columbia have, we're missing out on. That Lake Murray Country and Experience Columbia both get matching money from the state that makes our money go further, and we miss out on bulk ad buys. I'm all for the chamber doing this, but we have to make sure that our citizens and our businesses get that return on investment. So yes, I'd like to see those receipts.
So are we going to require the entities that received money last year to submit their receipts?
If you want to go back a couple years, that's fine.
No, I don't
I'm
want
just-
to go back, period. I don't want to see anybody.
Well-
I'm not getting into their business. I don't think that's our job.
Well, but it is your job, and you do that
No,
with
no, it's
other
not.
things.
No, it's not. Our job is to allocate the money.
Well, our job is at the very least to make sure that we are not breaking the law. And we do not have a budget for this A-tax money. That is required by state law, not city law, it's state law. And so the least that we should commit to as this council is to make sure that we are complying with the law. So we need a budget for how that A-tax money is going to be spent this year. And I don't think it's, they've got it. There's not a problem with seeing, you've said you've already seen them. I'd like to see the
I've
receipts.
seen the reports that they file annually up to, of course, this fiscal year has just started. Nothing's been allocated yet. I don't know if the last fiscal year reports have been filed yet, but I'm sure they're imminent if they haven't.
Great.
So again, I do not want to see receipts from Lamar Advertising for some billboard out on I-20. If you do, that's certainly your prerogative.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I asked for in the last meeting, so I'm just not sure why we don't have it this meeting, because I was hoping we were going to be able to move on from this.
But Mayor, you
topic.
speak of a contentious vote, and you continue to, I'm stunned that a city mayor will continue to attack the local chamber of commerce. I just don't know how to react to that. But that's okay. You're a voting member, a full member of this council, and if that's the information you request, then I support you getting your information, absolutely.
Thank you. I'm sorry, could you repeat how you just attacked me?
I didn't particularly attack you. I just said I just can't believe the city mayor continues to throw rocks at the local chamber of commerce. That's just something I'm struggling with, but that's okay. You
Why-
have required information, and I'm good with you getting it. Absolutely. Support it 100%.
Thank you. Then
Yes,
I'm not
ma'am.
sure why you're fighting with me.
I'm not trying to fight with you. I'm
council-
just trying to clarify things.
Council is supposed to be here for results for our citizens.
Yes, ma'am.
And if asking for results for our citizens is something that we shouldn't be doing, then I'd love to hear that. But I've gotten lots of calls from citizens who have been upset about this. And
Well,
excuse me,
yeah,
1 minute.
okay.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I'm
I've
sorry. I
gotten lots of
apologize.
calls from citizens who have been upset about this. I was hoping we were going to be able to get past this. That's what this meeting was supposed to be, was about the receipts and about the budget for this year, so that we could make sure we're complying with state law. I've even heard from citizens now that the vote that we took to use hospitality tax money for a pocket park probably doesn't comply with the law. We have a responsibility to get this right. And if getting it right is something that you see as throwing rocks, then I don't understand that.
Well, let's just agree to disagree on this one, okay?
All right.
Again, let's get your information, and we'll move on. Thank you. I'm good. I'm good.
Anything else?
Thank you, Mr. James.
If I can, Mayor, for the record, I would like to just make sure that the record reflects that I have completely recused myself from any communications regarding accommodations tax.
Correct.
I sat in here, as well as I think Councilman Thomas tonight, because it was a presentation. I have no intent for these type questions to come up, nor should I be in here with those type questions, but I was asked to step up here. You state that it is legal, and you as the chair have asked me to stand here.
Yes.
But just for the record, I have recused myself from all others.
Yes, no, you're perfectly in compliance, and you're absolutely fine to answer questions. You have two different roles. You can answer in that role. We don't have a vote before us tonight, so there's no need to recuse yourself.
And before I sit down then, with that being said, I would like to commend again Christina. Thank you so very much for a great job, everything that you do, and how excited you are to be able to share everything that the Visitor Center does. Thank you so much.
One last question, Tim. Can you remind us, what days is the chamber building open?
Monday through Thursday.
Okay, so not on weekends when tourists would most likely be around.
I think Christina probably mentioned the best practices of,
People aren't coming on the weekends when they're actually doing stuff. They're coming during the week to plan their time. And if,
you probably need to step back up, sorry.
that's okay. We are open Monday to Thursday from 9 to 4. Whenever we are not open, our QR code is posted on the outside of the building so people can scan what to do. The only thing they'd be missing out at that point is just a face-to-face, me telling them, come to soiree tomorrow, that type of thing. So that's all they're missing out on.
So the kiosk is not?
The kiosk is not open, but the kiosk is more robust online than it is in person.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next, we have consideration and approval of a resolution declaring filing dates for candidacy for municipal elections.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is for the ordinance required to establish the resolution for the candidacy. It does open on August 1st and closes on August 15th. It does seem like a simple ordinance, but it's, of course, a very important ordinance for our citizens to understand that the election will open for them to file to run on August 1st and close on August 15th. And with that, Council does have to vote on the ordinance this evening. And it is in your packet.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the ordinance?
Motion to approve the ordinance.
Second.
Any discussion? I'll call the question.
Mayor Pro Tem James.
Yes.
Councilmember Thomas.
Yes.
Councilmember Socks.
Yes.
Councilmember Carter.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, thank you, so moved. We have discussion and approval of contract award and funding source for demolition of Granby Gardens Park Pavilion.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. This is for approval of a contract award and a funding source for the demolition of Granby Gardens and Park Pavilion. This park was damaged heavily during the Helene hurricane that came through. This is the pavilion that sits in the back part of Granby's. It does sit off back behind the playground area. A lot of fallen trees actually fell down on the pavilion and completely destroyed the pavilion. So at this particular moment, we are on-call contractor for 3D Works. They're already under contract with us. Did give us a price for $35,000 to completely pull all of the trees and all the damaged structure and foundation out of there so we can hopefully go back and revisit and reimagine what that area could look like after this. So, at this time, staff recommends that council approve the city manager accept the quote from our on-call general contractor, 3D Works, to clean up Granby Park in the amount of $35,000.
Thank you. Is there a motion for the staff recommendation?
Move that we approve the staff recommendation.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? I'll call the question.
Mayor Pro Tem James.
Yes.
Councilmember Thomas.
Yes.
Councilmember Socks.
Yes.
Councilmember Carter.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, thank you. So moved. Next, we have discussion and approval to ratify an agreement approved by the city manager under the emergency powers of Section 2-146 with G.H. Smith Construction and Xylem Dewatering Solutions for emergency repair of a sewer main failure.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, council and mayor and council. Again, this is to ratify a city manager's action. Back in May of this year, there was some damage for a sewer line in Riverland Park. It's right there at the curve. Basically for the manhole, there was a lot of damage to it. We actually had a little bit of sewer that was leaking into the river, so this did require some time sensitivity. So we did have to get in there quickly and get that repaired. We did do that. It took a little while to get to you because we needed all the invoices to come in so we have the total cost. But this was approved by the city manager at the time. So we're just ratifying that particular action under the Emergency Powers Act.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the staff recommendation to ratify the city manager's action executing agreements with G.H. Smith Construction Incorporated for $83,760.29 and Xylem Dewatering Solutions Incorporated for $18,039.12, the total of $101,799.41, and emergency contracts will be funded from the utilities wastewater collection O&M budget.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? I'll call the question.
Mayor Pro Tem James.
Yes.
Councilmember Thomas.
Yes.
Councilmember Socks?
Yes.
Councilmember Carter?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes, thank you, so moved. We have discussion and approval of ordinance 2025-06, annexing property located at 2140 Frink Street. This is tax map number 005758-01-023, and assigning C2 neighborhood commercial zoning designation. This is the first reading.
Yes, Mayor and Council, this is the first reading of an ordinance to annex a property located at 2140 Frank Street, tax map number 005758-01-023 into the city of Cayce, and assign the C2 neighborhood commercial zoning designation. This property is a donut hole that sits down on Frank Street, almost at the end of Taylor and Frank. It's a large parcel, almost 6 acres. At this time, it is heavily overgrown. There were a couple of structures there a long time ago that have been taken in by nature again. The new property owners have gone in and started cleaning this. They came to us discussing developing the property. At this time, they're only going to put a storage unit on there for personal storage. They are going to clean it up, take the old dilapidated buildings off. We really got into the conversation about annexing it because their future use would like to put some commercial space along Frank Street on that property. So with them needing utilities from us, they did agree to come in and annex into the city of Cayce, and that we would have our C2 zoning on it and be able to control the development when it moved forward.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Move that we approve first reading of ordinance 2025-06, annexing property located at 2140 Frink Street, tax map number 005758-01-023, and assigning C2 neighborhood commercial zoning designation.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. So the personal storage building, do we know, is that, I mean, if they want it to be commercial, is that going on the back of the property?
Yes, they're putting the initial storage building in the back of the property.
Okay. Okay.
Mike, is this where they're taking the old house down that was back up in the woods?
They're going to get the house that's back up into the woods, yes, sir. It's been grown up by trees and really been in really poor shape.
That property, Barn Swallow, that comes off of Old Dunbar over to Frink Street, is that in the city limits now? That comes up almost to where this property is?
No, sir, that is
It's
not.
not, okay.
All right, I'll call the question.
Mayor Pro Tem James?
Yes.
Councilmember Thomas?
Yes.
Councilmember Socks?
Yes.
Councilmember Carter?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes, thank you, so moved. We have a request for approval to enter the following committee-approved minutes into the city's record. You have the Planning Commission from February 24th, the Planning Commission work session from April 21st, the Museum Commission from May 7th, and the Museum Commission from June 4th.
Move that we enter all sets of committee minutes into the city's record.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I'll call the question.
Mayor Pro Tem James?
Yes.
Councilmember Thomas?
Yes.
Councilmember Socks?
Yes.
Councilmember Carter?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes, thank you, so moved. You have a request for reappointments, two from the Board of Zoning Appeals, one Mr. Chip Salek, the other one Dr. Shirley McClurklin Motley. They both expire this month. They would both like to serve again, and they both attend meetings regularly.
Motion to approve both for reappointment.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? I think Mr. Salek, he's here tonight. Nice to have you here. I'll call the question.
Mayor Pro Tem James?
Yes.
Councilmember Thomas?
Yes.
Councilmember Socks?
Yes.
Councilmember Carter?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes, thank you, so moved. We have Public Safety Foundation. Ms. Barbara Corbett's position expires this month. She does attend meetings regularly and would like to serve again.
Move that we-
Motion to approve, Ms. Corbett.
Second.
Okay, and I'll note she's here as well, so thank you for being here. I'll call the question.
Mayor Pro Tem James.
Yes.
Councilmember Thomas.
Yes.
Councilmember Socks.
Yes.
Councilmember Carter.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, thank you, so moved. Message out to all those who are watching us online. We do have a number of openings in some of our committees. Even if there's not an opening, you can still put in an application and then be in the queue for when there is an opening. But events committee, we have 4 open positions. So if you know anybody who's good at event planning that would be interested in helping to bring about some of the things like the Cayce Cool Down that we host in the city, please point them towards our website. The application is on there, and they can just submit it through there. Next, we have discussion of proposed amendments to the Cayce Museum and Historical Commission bylaws.
Yes, ma'am. As our great speaker earlier in the meeting spoke, Chairman and the Museum Commission asked if we could re-examine their bylaws. They did have a wonderful African-American ad hoc committee for a number of years, and it's exciting for them to bring this into the fold as a formal standing committee from here on going forward. So kudos for them for bringing it forward to us.
Thank you. And in addition to the Museum Commission Chair, we also have several commission members and some of the African-American committee members here. So thank you all for being here. Is there a motion to approve the bylaw changes?
A motion to approve the bylaw changes to make the African American Commission permanent.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? I will just say that this is a powerhouse committee. In addition to all the cool work that the Museum Commission does, this committee does some amazing work. If you didn't know that there was a connection between the city of Cayce, the Smithsonian, and the Vatican, you would have found that out if you came to the last Legends. There are so many amazing citizens in our city, and that group does a wonderful job of highlighting all the amazing contributions, the amazing talent that's in our city. If you want to know the answer to the connection between those 3 things, it's an artist named Larry Lebby, who lived here in Cayce. And his work is in the Smithsonian and in the Vatican and in the Cayce Museum. So very, very amazing.
And Mayor,
Yes.
for those in our Cayce community that want to learn more about Juneteenth, the commission did an amazing job with their Juneteenth program last month, and so I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait for furthermore events that they're going to plan, as well as the other great events the Museum Commission can plan. So thank y'all so much for the great job y'all are doing. Sadly, see in other cities, the stories are not being told, but that's not the case in Cayce, South Carolina, so that's a positive for our city, so thank you.
All right, we'll call the question.
Mayor Pro Tem James.
Yes.
Councilmember Thomas.
Yes.
Councilmember Socks.
Yes.
Councilmember Carter.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, thank you, so moved. We have the city manager's report.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. First and foremost, I did want to bring some information to council. We've talked about this in the past, but bring it forth. It's the PRE for the utility wastewater plant. It does not formally have to come to council, but I did want to bring that information to you. We all aware that our wastewater treatment plant is coming to capacity, and with traditionally when it comes in that 80% range, Department of Environmental Services asked if you would start your PER process for expansion or to look at existing uses to expand, but that's what the engineering's for. I did want to bring that information to you that we are using our on-call engineers of American Engineering to start that process. It is already budgeted. It's been, we did budget that for this upcoming fiscal year, so we do have the money already. I just wanted to bring that forward. I know that our purchasers are out there wondering, and I did want to make them, we've been in communication with them, and we've had conversations with them, so they are aware. I just wanted to bring that forward to council during my, it's not there was no vote necessary. I just wanted to bring that for an information for you. I do have all that information that I did bring forward to you, council. I'm open to going through that with you tonight real quick, or it's a lot of information. It was just really some directives that were brought to council or to staff. I'm happy to go through that, or you have all that information with you. and I can move on to the good stuff from staff, but I will take that directive from you. Okay, I can go forward. Okay, so it was brought to, council asked for some information on the Safe Streets grant. I believe that was you. Mayor Pro Tem asked about what we could do with the Safe Streets grant. Of course, Assistant City Manager Crosby did reach out to the contractor and did get the information that we can work some of that new intersections into our existing scope, so we'll look forward to continuing that process.
Thank you, Wes.
Mayor, you asked from some information from staff about the Midlands Business Leadership Group and the rebranding of the Cayce Riverwalk and other river walks along the avenues. I believe a gentleman reached out to us today to set up a conversation, so we'll look forward to continuing that conversation and see where it goes with myself, you, and the Mayor Pro Tem James. We are working on, so you, Mayor, you requested from staff some information about the Carnley Avenue basins and where that goes. We're still working on that. I have a draft to review at this particular moment. So as soon as that draft is finalized, we'll get that over to you and see about getting that information out to our residents. Let's see, I was trying to Mayor, you asked about the wonderful flame that we have down there at the police department. Our victim advocates are so big part of, and they got that down there. I do want to bring them back so they can tell you that story. I hope to have them back at the August 5th meeting for you. Mayor, you asked about the community development block grants and what we have gotten in the past. Immediately, the past several years, we've had 2 block grants. One was for the Lexington Avenue sewer line, which is a little over $270,000 in 2024. And then the other was a State Street sewer line project. Actually, I have it on here, but it was back in 2020 for a little over $180,000. Those are the 2 community development block grants that I could find.
Thank you, and I know we've gotten, the CDBG or Community Development Block Grants are a very accessible source of money for cities for big projects, but they are right now they're about to be cut from the federal government. So I would encourage you, if you could talk to your boss and see, tell him we need those CDBGs. I'm trying to remember some of the other ones that we've done that have been, I think the State streetscaping, all of that work that started at Frink and has worked its way up to Knox Abbott, I think that was CDBG for many years. But if that source of funding goes away, that is a drastic impact. And so the things like Mike just said, the sewer line project, well, the sewer line project has to get done. So if we don't have CDBG, guess what? It's coming out of the account we have already. And that means that we have less to work with to do other things for our citizens. So it really helps to have that federal source of money. So thank you, Mike.
Yes, ma'am. Next was, Mayor, you requested or directed staff to look into the street signs from the DOT street signs. And we have been working with, actually the Lexington County does the street signs. We worked with them on a number of occasions. They are way behind, of course, but we did get some information to them. They asked us if we would sort of bring a slow number of signs to them over a period of time so they can get those things done, and we have. They just recently got about 5 done a couple of months ago, so we'll continue to do that and work with them. We know there's a lot out there, and we'll continue to work down that process with them.
Thank you.
You already talked earlier about the CWC presentation.
So we'll add that to the next meeting then, to finally get that.
Oh,
Was it a presentation or was it just reviewing the numbers? I think that it was just to review the numbers.
At this point, I think it's gone on so long. I know Tim wants this off his back. I know the chamber wants to get the good word out there. So if we can just put it out there for the public, then there's no questions and we can all move on. So it was supposed to be in tonight's packet. The fact that it wasn't, I don't understand. But so if we do it in the next one, then great, then it's done.
To put it in the packet, that's right?
That's coming a directive from staff or from council.
I mean,
do what-
it could just be on there as a discussion, and then if it doesn't need to be discussed, it's just
Sure.
in the packet.
Sure, I just didn't want them to have to prepare another presentation if we
Correct.
just want to look at numbers.
Councilman Carter, you brought up the history of A-tax, and you would like put together a document showing what we actually do and how that process works. We're working on that, and we'll get that to you hopefully at the August 5th meeting, but we'll give you a formal written documentation of what the process is, and maybe even some suggestions that could help us move forward in a more positive way as well. So I'll definitely have that to you in the August 5th meeting.
Thank you.
I did attach you, it didn't say who, but we did have a directive from council of when the Naples Avenue construction schedule. We haven't talked a lot about the Naples Avenue constructions, but I did put that construction schedule into your packet that I gave you. So that is in there for you. Feel free to ask me if there's anything I can catch up to you with on that. A couple council meetings ago, we did have a good discussion about when Naples Avenue was going to be closing. So that is July 14th, the Naples Avenue entrance to Riverland Park will be closing as they start demoing and getting in there and start doing some heavy work on that particular area. We do have the signs up. They're already up. Those pictures are in your packet, what those signs look like. We did direct people down to the Lyle Street entrance, which is the closest. And we did let them know there is public parking in the art lot. It's either there or on the street. There is some public street parking as well. However, we also directed them down to the Thomas Newman boat landing. We did that particularly because of the boardwalk construction that we have at this particular time. You can't go south from Lyle Street because of we have the damaged boardwalk right there. So if they wanted to be the southern half of our Riverwalk, they kind of have to go around that area. And that's the only really open public parking area that we had on that south part. So that's why we picked those two. But the signage is up and it's very visible. Mayor Pro Tem, you also brought up, I believe it was the last council meeting, some suggestions about planning commission. And I do want to go over those real quick. And I'm sorry, I'm being really wordy tonight. I apologize for taking up so much time. So it was the light pollution and the short-term rentals. We as staff believe that we can definitely get out and get some surveys to our citizens, get some feedback on those two particular issues. We will also have our contractors go in and do a nice little workshop with Planning Commission. Staff has already started working on some model ordinances and some language that we're happy to get to Planning Commission. And once we get that feedback from citizens and from our Planning Commission, we'll work on that and get that to them. And so the process from there would be to take it to Planning Commission, let them review. Of course, they'll give it a recommendation to council, and all those documentations will come to council for your review. And let me know if you feel like I'm missing anything on that particularly. Okay. On to a more normal city manager report. Lots of fun things, lots of good stuff that's going on in the city of Cayce. Of course, Cayce PD is working hard on, they do have a school drive that will be now until through the July 25th. So if you do have anything to donate to that, the PD school drive, please make sure you get it down at the police department before July 25th. And then they'll have their back to school bash over at the Mount Pleasant Baptist Church on July 31st from 5:30 to 8:30. For everybody loves our Cayce calendar. The competition is up and running right this moment. We need some people to submit some pictures for our calendar. There is no particular theme this year, so it just has to be a Cayce photo. We do need plenty more to get in there, and it'll be open until August 11th, and then we'll start putting that calendar together. So we all look forward to that. Glenwood Park reopening celebration, I believe, is August 5th, so look forward to some more information on that coming up soon. Cayce Cool Down is, of course, July 26th. Everybody's looking for a nice Cayce Cool Down by the time July 26th rolls around, so please make sure you put that on your calendar. Cayce Museum has July 19th, free event, and it's on the life of Thomas Sumter. Very important here in South Carolina. Cayce, I believe council has a workshop scheduled for next week. It is for July 15th at 6 p.m., and we'll go ahead and make sure we get that posted for everybody to be aware of. Follow up on just what we just talked about, the Naples Avenue River Walk entrance will be closed on July 14th. We are doing definitely getting more information out about that, so please make sure that you share that with all your local and repeat walkers that always go down to Naples entrance. And July 14th is that day. State, of course, remember that State, we just talked about it a little bit earlier. They did a nice, American and McClam did a really good presentation on the closing of State. It is closed from State between Indigo and Jansen for the next couple of weeks, so please always remember that. Plenty of signs out, and make sure that we sign up for the Cayce Avenues Drainage Project, caycedrainage.com. You can sign up for the updates, get the text alerts, and hopefully be well informed of all those things. And then finally, good news for us, finally underway is some work at the upgrading Pump Station 1 is officially underway. So that took a long time for us to get there. Big project for utilities, so look forward to continue that. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Really great first city manager report. Thank you, Mike. And appreciate you going back to all those items to make sure they're getting taken care of.
Yes, ma'am.
Council comments?
Well, Mike, welcome to the big chair.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
I really do appreciate it.
I want to also comment on what the mayor just said. You had said apologize for being so windy, but I wouldn't call that being windy at all, because a lot of the things that you spoke of, I believe, educated our community on what's being done every single day by our city workers.
Yes, sir.
And by also educating our community on what council's asking you to get done, whether it be street signs or the short-term rentals or the light pollution. These are things that you guys are working on, and I know there's people who greatly appreciate that too, because when it comes to short-term rentals, I immediately spoke with a gentleman who told me the nightmares that are taking place because of this. So we are looking forward to that, something happening about that. As a follow-up to what Allie and Chris and Mr. McClam said, thank y'all very, very much. Appreciate. And Ashley, I know that you'll be able to get this out to our public. Hopefully we'll be able to even maybe cut a portion of what y'all presented tonight so that our public can hear it. But the walking loops also give me a little bit of concern. I'd like for Wes and maybe our others to be able to take a look at that and see if there's some workaround. I know we're halfway into it now, but is there some type of workaround that we can do down there? We're a magical city that can make things happen. And there's a lot of people who love that park and have been using it for years and years and years. And if there's some type of workaround, Wes, that you guys can put together, I know that they would all be grateful for you doing that. Also, if I could ask you please to get with Chief Wade, and Chief, anyone else who can help you. Again, just picture yourself where 1,000 additional cars are coming down your road. What can you do to slow it down, work around that a little bit? But that's exactly what's happening right now as we're taking these cars off of State Street and putting them down Lafayette and Carlaney. So if there's something that we can do in that area, I would greatly appreciate it. Whether it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 10 weeks, we need to just make sure that we're doing our best before something could accidentally happen. And that's well done. Thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. Mike, welcome to the big league too. Very excited to have you sitting across from us. So thank you so much for being our city manager. And to harp off of what Mayor Pro Tem said, sadly in government we've seen too many times where government works with entities on projects, and then those projects get finished, and then government has to then go back and say, hey, hold up, we need y'all to come back to fix things, and then that process takes longer for those entities to come back to fix it. So, Mike, I also just want to harp that this project is not complete until the park is more beautiful and upgraded than we've ever imagined, because that's what our citizens deserve, to know that, hey, because I've received some calls about the trees and everything, and so we need to make sure that we give our citizens an even better park. I've had people that don't even live in Cayce talk about just how nice Ginyard Park is. So now we have an amazing opportunity to raise the bar at Ginyard Park. So I cannot wait to see what we can do with American to work together to bring that park up to something amazing that no one could have ever imagined. And so this is going to be a great partnership, and I have true confidence in everyone working together to make that happen. So I just want to harp on Mayor Pro Tem's statement, as well as thank you so much, Mayor and Council, everyone for agreeing to meet next Tuesday for our work session. I know that's something that I've been trying to get ever since I got elected, because I know a lot of cities elsewhere do work sessions to, hey, what are your ideals, or what are you trying to work on? Hey, how do we continue to work together? How do we hear from our city manager about direction so we can continue to move together as one? And so I'm very excited for next Tuesday, and I think this is a big win for our citizens and staff. And so I can't wait to brainstorm and work together with my colleagues up here to continue to better our beautiful city. Mike, I love to thank Mindy and any staff member that does an amazing job with our Fall Fest, which when I served on the events committee some years ago, it got brought back to us to like volunteer, get it back up to par, and Mindy and Amanda were always there to, get things rolling. So just thank you, and anyone else that helps to put that on, just thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, because this is a beautiful, fun event. But I just had like a little suggestion just in case, since I know we still had time. But I was thinking maybe we could consider offering some free transportation option to help citizens to get to and from our awesome Fall Fest, especially with citizens that live in Cayce that struggle having transportation. If we could potentially look at that as an option, and our city mailer hasn't gone out yet, so if that is an option that our city could do, we could potentially put the stops in the city mailer or on people's trash cans to know, hey, we're going to have some public transportation run through your neighborhood, and we'd love for you to utilize it, because they'll not only get people that potentially lack transportation to a city event, they still pay taxes too, y'all. But it also minimizes the traffic down here on our property. So just something to consider. If we could consider that, that would be sweeter than sweet tea. I'd also like to thank the Cayce West Columbia Block Party Committee for allowing the Lexington County Mobile Library to come out to their awesome block party last month. And again, I'm going to say this every year, if y'all want the best food and best time, you got to go to that block party off Dream Street, because it is amazing. So many beautiful people. Sadly, I couldn't stay too long for it this year because I had another family event, but they had an amazing DJ that I know had people doing a lot of line dancing. So if you love to dance, you don't want to miss that block party. But while I was there, it was just amazing to see the excitement of like our children, our Cayce kids running up to go check out a book. Like I'll never forget, like this one little lady, she ran into the mobile library, and then she had to go run and go get her dad. And then, she just checked out some books, and then some kids got a library card. And I'm like, these small things make big impacts, because these young people, they're our future. They're the future business people of our city. They're the future, and they're future people that's going to sit up here. So any of these opportunities that we can give, that, hey, our tax dollars are paying these county services, and if we could bring them to Cayce, that's a win for all of us. So I'm just very, very blessed to allow that to happen. And finally, from Mike and Chief Wade, I love y'all a lot. So, y'all know we got to do a hot dogs and handshakes event. So then the District 2 and the whole city of Cayce can come out to a park and eat some hot dogs and just show y'all some love, really get to meet y'all and get to know you, because I'm a big believer in relationships. If people have a relationship with you, then they can trust you, and we'll have a better city. So now that we got a city manager, I want to do both of y'all at the same time, so then everyone can come show y'all some love. So if y'all just give me some dates, in the next 3 months for, when it gets cooler, I will be honored to throw y'all both a nice little event. Everyone's welcome, but hey, it's hosting District 2. So I'm just very excited that y'all are serving our city, the best city in South Carolina. So thank you. May God bless y'all.
Hot dogs and handshakes. Only you.
Thank you.
AEC, McLean, thank you all for providing us updates tonight. And Christina, thank you so much for that wonderful presentation, and thank you for all y'all do. So impactful to our business community here in Cayce and in the Midlands, so appreciate y'all.
Nothing from me, Mayor.
Okay, good. As y'all, many of you know, I was invited to participate in the Mayor's Institute for City Design many years ago. That's the program that is a collaboration of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, the National Endowment for the Arts, and the American Institute of Architects. Didn't cost our city a dime, but they only take 8 mayors from across the nation at a time. And that's what has given us the tools to revitalize the original heart of our city, created our Cayce River Arts District, and brought all those small businesses. This Thursday, there's a free event that Mike has had Wes sign up for. He and I are going to attend a seminar on how U.S. cities fund, govern, and maintain parks and public spaces. So again, at no cost to us, but a great opportunity through the Mayor's Institute for City Design, and parks is something that we all up here are very passionate about. So we're looking forward to what comes out of that. Thank you. All right, next we have executive session for discussion of contractual negotiation and employment matters for the city manager's contract, and discussion of personnel matter relating to the exit of city manager. Is there a motion to go into executive session for said reasons?
Move that we enter executive session for said reasons.
Second.
Okay, I'll call the question.
Mayor Pro Tem James.
Yes.
Councilmember Thomas.
Yes.
Councilmember Socks.
Yes.
Councilmember Carter.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, thank you so much.
Do y'all need more water, Phil? Do you know?
I think we're all right.
All right, I think I got everything.
Good job first time, man.
Was it? Thank you, you did a great job. I love your presentation. Was I? You did a tour with that. It's all great.
Really,
So moved. Okay, so no vote was taken in executive session except to come out of executive session. I believe we have a request for an approval of the city manager's contract.
Yes, I move that we approve the city manager's contract as discussed in executive session and authorize the mayor to sign on behalf of the city.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? I would just like to make a couple comments. Mike and I had a great conversation, and he knew ahead of time, last time, that I wasn't going to vote for him, and we said we would talk. We've had a great conversation, and I told him that I wanted to come out and affirm him as the city manager and share a little bit about his experience so people know about him and can learn a little bit more about him. Before he was with the city of Cayce, he was with Kershaw County in Camden. One of the things he did there was the director of planning and zoning, and we've had several city managers who have that background of planning and zoning, and it's a really great combination of knowing what really goes into one of the most important parts of city government. And also, he was in the United States Army and was a flight medic. So he and I have talked. Staff is my absolute most highest priority. And we've had some great conversations about supporting staff. That means supporting him too. And I encourage everybody to work together so that we can make sure that he is successful. You know, since I've been here, our first city manager was here for 9 years. The next one was here for 7 years. And I know Mike wants to be here for 10. So we want him to be very successful. And Mike, I know you wanted to add some things in there too.
Yes, Mayor, and thank you for that support, and thank you, council, for the honor of the opportunity. I'm truly honored and excited to step into the role of city manager for the city of Cayce. My clear priorities is the growth and prosperity of our city, and I'm committed to empowering our team directly. This means providing necessary resources, technology, support for all of our departments, offering leadership training for our managers, and actively listening to your insights to derive our collective success. I'm proud of our recent achievements in economic development and community partnerships, our award-winning culture initiatives, and our impactful public safety programs. We're building for the future while honoring our rich history, our rich heritage, and preserving our natural beauty and our unique character. I believe strongly in our employees' capabilities and Cayce's future. We will continue to build on our strengths together, and I'm committed to ongoing growth as a leader. I'm continuously learning and adapting to best serve our city and its dedicated team as we work towards our shared goals. So thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. I'll call the question.
Mayor Pro Tem James,
Absolutely.
Councilmember Thomas.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Socks.
Yes.
Councilmember Carter.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, thank you, so moved. And I don't believe we have anything else tonight, so I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I'll call the question.
Mayor Pro Tem James,
Yes.
Councilmember Thomas.
Yes.
Councilmember Socks.
Yes.
Councilmember Carter.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, thank you, so moved. Feel better, Phil.
I will. Mayor, normally, we usually meet here piecewise.
Okay, perfect, you just tell me where. I'm
Well,
flexible.
Friday 10 now, you still got me down, don't you?
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Thank y'all.
we're gonna be here.
Safe travels, Cam.
Good night.